of the Sabbath, or Shabbat. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel where biblical backgrounds matter. In Leviticus chapter 23 and verses 1 to 3, you have the feast of the Sabbath, or Shabbat in Hebrew. In English, it's the Sabbath. In Hebrew, it was called the Shabbat. But either way, it means rest, which is what God promised and commanded. It is first noted in Genesis 2:2 that when God ended his work on the seventh day, he rested. Not because he needed rest, not because he was tired or weak, because our God is strong, but because he wanted his creation to set aside that time to fellowship with him. He told us to rest from our labor. And then he included that in the Ten Commandments. Exodus chapter 20 and verses 8 to 10. Let's flip back to those two scriptures first. Genesis 2:2. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Verse 3 says, Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. And Exodus chapter 20 and verses 8 to 11. God gave the command, Remember the Sabbath, to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your works. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and hallowed it. God sanctified the Sabbath, and he blessed it, hallowed it, meaning he set apart that time for us to have rest and fellowship. Now, Jewish law was that man should labor 6 days and then rest on the seventh. We're not bound by the Old Testament Jewish law, though. Why? Because according to Matthew 11, verse 28 and 29, Jesus says, Come unto me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest for your souls. He says, Take my yoke upon you, For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So Jesus Christ, being Lord of the Sabbath, is our Sabbath. He is our resting place. Hebrews chapter 4 and verses 9 and 10. Says that there remains therefore a rest for the people of God, for he who has entered his rest has himself also ceased from his works as God did from his. So getting back to Leviticus chapter 23 and verses 1 to 3, it says, "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work in it. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings." God commanded Israel as a nation to work 6 days, basically from Sunday to sundown on Friday, and then to rest from sundown on Friday all the way into Saturday. Why? Because He is Lord. That was the time that He wanted His people, whom He sanctified and whom He chose and made holy, to humble themselves and worship Him and to find rest in Him. Let's read that again. "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, these are my feasts." So each feast individually belongs to the Lord. Verse 3, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath day of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work on it. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. It should be noted that that did not officially change as the legal Sabbath day, but the legalism is not what binds us, because God wants true worship. He wants true fellowship. Now, in the book of Acts, the church met on a daily basis. As soon as they got off of work in the markets, they would get together and fellowship, either in the markets or in each other's houses or on street corners. So it really doesn't matter, now that we are under the grace of God, what day we worship him, we should be worshiping him every day. Not just on a specific legal day. It wasn't until about 400 AD that the day of worship changed from Saturday to Sunday. And the reason was said to be because God wants to be first in our lives. Anyhow, that's about all I've got for this particular video. And we'll get into the rest of the feast in the next few days. Until next time, remember that biblical backgrounds matter. And may God richly bless you as you diligently study his holy written word.